Hi guys and gals and kittens, and welcome to the AI Neuro Magic Show. Here I've got Qoder. Qoder is Alibaba's equivalent to Claude, and I have connected Magic to it. Here you can see Magic. The simplest way to actually connect Magic to Qoder is to go to your Magic dashboard and click copy or OAuth URL. Right, and then you just tell Qoder, I've got an HTTP MSP server here requiring auth. Please help me configure yourself such that I can connect. And then you just paste in the URL, at which point Qoder is obviously gonna hopefully it's going to come back with basically the exact JSON you need to apply. Once it does, there's one thing you need to exchange. You need to go here into your Cloudlet. You need to click on your username. Typically it says root, not team. And then you need to click generate token. I cannot do that, obviously, for security reasons in a YouTube video, because that would show you a token allowing you to, access my Cloudlet. However, let's wait for Qoder to be done here and see how it helps us connect, right? I've already connected this guy for the record, but basically Qoder is now gonna come back with some JSON, and then you're gonna be told to click settings, then you're gonna have to click settings here, then you're gonna have to click MCP servers, and then you're gonna have to click edit on this guy. Yet again, I can't do that because that's going to show my token. But basically what I added to this file is something similar to this. Let me see. It's still thinking. So let's wait until it's done thinking. Here I'm writing, it's taking a berry token. You might need to guide it, of course, every now and then because it doesn't really know everything. But the point is, it's going to come back with a JSON configuration object containing your URL, type of transport protocol being HTTP, very, very important. The Magic MCP server does not support SSE or streaming. So it's going to end up looking something like, oh, come on. Let me see what this guy looks. Yeah, here we go. This is the guy. This is the guy we're looking for. So what we're waiting for is basically something like this that we can copy and paste. So now if I just ignore this guy, and let me close that guy and start a new chat here now, right? Since I've already connected Magic previously, I can tell it to list. Actually, you know what? Let me open Claude now. Because in Claude, I already have this. I want to copy this thing here, right? And then I want to go back into Qoder, and then I want to provide it with the exact same prompt, right? Because the point is that you see, when you connect Qoder to Magic, you're no longer using Qwen or GLM 5.2 to create code. You're actually outsourcing that specific part to MY LLM called Hyperlambda Generator, which is an SLM. And the point being that my Hyperlambda Generator on average is actually 2 to 3 times better than Fable on creating backend code. Now, and that is the reasons for that is because it can only produce backend code. So it's a specialist. It's a specialist LLM, right? Let me see. Okay, so here you can see now it's creating a to-do for us. So the entirety of this process typically takes somewhere between 5 to 6 minutes. And realize I'm on a pro trial here of Qoder, right? I haven't even bought a professional subscription, which means that you don't have to spend a single cent reproducing what I'm doing here. You don't need a single subscription, not even a subscription to the Hyperlambda generator. You can just use the free tokens there currently too that I am actually subsidizing. So starting from Monday, the 13th of July, Anthropic's going to start charging you $10 per 1 million input token and $50 per 1 million output tokens to access Claude. Now, if you are on a Pro or a Max subscription, that means you basically can't use Fable, right? So if you want to use Fable, your effective cost is roughly going to be 10x of whatever you're paying today. Right, so an average software developer, such as me, a senior software developer using AI every single day as my primary go-to tool for creating software, if I was to use exclusively Fable starting from Monday, that would cost me about $2,000 a month. Qoder is $20 per month. And if I combine Qoder with Magic, I'm producing higher quality code than Fable does out of the box. Right? Now, you can, of course, connect Fable to the Hyperlambda generator and Magic too, to which point you save 80% of your tokens on Fable. So now your Fable costs have gone down from like $2,000 a month to $400 a month, assuming you exclusively use it to create backend APIs, right? However, you can get away even cheaper. You can get away for $20 and you're literally outperforming Fable. I'm not kidding you. And the reasons for that is because now I'm not really using Qoder for anything else but to prompt my LLM. So Qoder is no longer actually a software developer. It's like a program manager, right? And the program manager creates prompts and invokes functions in my Magic MCP server, which actually does all the heavy work. So the fact of that, GLM 5.2 is like, 90% of the quality of, Opus 4.8 is all of a sudden completely 100% irrelevant, because you still end up with twice the quality at the end of the day. You just chose a cheaper PM, right? Or a more inexpensive program manager, because Qwen is no longer actually doing the coding. That's up to my LLM. So now let's fast forward a little bit here and look at the result. So now the system is done. It spent approximately 9 minutes in total creating the entirety of the code. Fable was able to do it in 6 minutes, right? So you could argue that Fable is faster, but I mean, that's like, maybe Qoder could pull it off in 5 minutes tomorrow. I mean, this is like the whole problem with LLMs, right? Nothing is deterministic. So, but it basically created a complete database. Now I can tell it to seed that database with example rows. And now the point is, if I go back into my Cloudlet here, not Claude, and I go to create, I go to Hyper IDE, I go to modules, I expand Task Manager here, you will now see that okay, it shows a couple of funny file names. It actually messed up a little bit here, and on some of these endpoints. Let's see if it even works. I'm not entirely sure if it works with parentheses. I actually don't think so, but let's see. Yeah, it doesn't work because it actually messed up the file names here only, right? But if I change this, clients, I don't even know why it ended up doing this. I've done this exercise 3 times previously today, and it worked every single time. This is not my fault. This is Qoder's fault. Qoder's messed up the file names here, right? But let's try clients. That one's going to probably work. Yeah. So, but now basically ignoring those little errors with a couple of the files here that needs to be renamed, because if I look at the function invocations here in Qoder, you will actually see that it provided the wrong file names while it was like saving my files. So, but on average, it actually does the exact same job as Cloud Code, but it does mess up every now and then a little bit on like its prompting, because it isn't quite as smart as Fable, right? But you're paying $20 a month for Qoder, and then you're paying me $49 per month for access to Magic and the Hyperlambda generator. Magic is open source, you can host it on your own infra, so all of a sudden you're using a Chinese model to create a solution that is like 1,000,000 times more secure than what's even possible in theory with both OpenAI and you know, Anthropic out of the box. Why? Because you have the Magic server on your infra and it serves as a firewall between your company data and the LLM on the other side. So all of a sudden the entirety of the security threats associated with using a Chinese LLM just simply isn't there anymore, right? And you get twice the quality. So really, you know, if you take Claude and you exclusively use Fable, and then starting from Monday, you would probably pay roughly around $2,000 a month, and you'd get half the quality of what you'd get if you were combining Qoder and Magic for $69 a month. So what is that? If we find a calculator here and we do, you know, 2,000, or actually 4969 divided by 2,000 multiplied by 100. So it's like 3.45% of what you're paying for Fable. And it's actually twice the quality, literally. It messed up now, I need to emphasize that, and I apologize for that, and I feel terrible about it, but I've actually done this exercise 3 times without it messing up. So, and Fable also do mess up every now and then, maybe not quite as frequently as, you know, Qoder, but it does mess up every now and then. Anyways, that was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.